Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Transcend Podcast. My name is Reagan Shepard, and we're wrapping up this Black Rifle Coffee series. Joining me is Caleb Francis, an internet personality, and I quote from his Instagram bio, he makes weird videos, games, and lives. Let's get into it. Well, thank you for coming back today.
Of course.
I know yesterday we kind of talked about you and JT and your relationship, but I just want to get to know you more and your story with health and fitness and everything. But talk to me a little bit about your upbringing. I know you said you were from West Virginia, but like, what was your childhood like? What did it kind of look like for you?
Well, I mean, it's just mountains, pretty much. Lived in a holler, like that was just pretty much everybody. They lived in up some holler.
What's a holler?
Like the in between of mountains.
Okay.
That goes to just like mountain. Where, like the
Okay.
road ends at the peak or the some or beginning of a mountain. The road winds through all these mountains and then it ends and that's
Wow.
it. You're just surrounded by mountains
Wow.
within mountains. It's awesome. So that's like how we grew up. And so a lot of hiking and camping, four-wheeler riding, just anything in the woods. That was like our main thing that we could do for fun. And you're like hours from most stores.
Yeah.
So we had to just get pretty creative outdoors. But I have three older sisters, my mom and my dad. My dad coal mines his whole life. Mom had like a handful of different jobs, but she worked in schools mostly. And she was like in the cafeteria and like involved in school stuff other ways, which was always rough because she would bring home extra food like every day, and so I'm like eating like school pizza and like friggin' pepperoni rolls and things like that, like double time every day. So that was rough. But yeah, like just a lot of outdoor stuff and camping and things like that with all my buddies. I had a lot of good friends that lived in the same holler, so we all grew up building tree houses and things like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
When I was driving, because I just moved up here from Florida,
Yeah.
so I drove from Jacksonville all the way up here. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was my first time kind of driving through like Tennessee, North
Oh,
Carolina,
yeah,
the
yeah.
mountains like that.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get to West Virginia,
Sure.
but like
Pretty
when
similar. Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
And I can understand what a holler is now because like when you explain it, I was like, we're just driving through windy roads of mountains,
and then it just ends,
and it
and
just
that's where
ends.
and then you got to go back out that same road. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But hearing you kind of talk about like your community and everything, I could see how it's really close knit because that's kind of all you have in the near distance. You know?
Yeah, that because it was the holler that I lived in. It was like a mile long, and then it split into a fork. Like one went 2 miles, and ours went 1 mile. And then there at the main end, like where it got into like the actual highway, there was like two gas stations there, and that was like it. And then you had to drive 30 minutes one way or 30 minutes the other way to get to any like basic grocery store or things like that, like Family Dollar, like just like mountain stores.
Exactly.
And then like hour and a half to get to anything like real, and that was like a Walmart or Sam's Club or like actual restaurants and things like that. But
Wow.
yeah, it was I loved it growing
Yeah.
up. So career wise, unless you're doing something in the mines or medical field or own a business, it's pretty rough there. But yeah, growing up it was a lot of fun.
I can imagine as a kid, you're kind of like
Yeah.
embracing it all. You're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
there to have
You're
fun.
just playing, yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So would you say like you guys kind of learned how to use what was around you when it came to like food? Because you said grocery stores were kind of pretty far.
Yeah.
So was it a lot of like, did people have like gardens
Oh
and farms?
yeah.
And
Pretty much everyone in my family, like my grandparents, I can remember like going to their house, like especially during the summers and spring and stuff. They always had multiple gardens everywhere. My mom and dad always raised gardens. Like there for years growing up, they raised big gardens, like up on the hillside behind our house where our barn was, because we had horses and a couple other different animals. But they always did like potatoes, and like he had corn a couple times, and like a lot of lettuce, just like a lot of cucumbers because they would pickle them and can. Like they were all real big into like canning stuff.
Yeah.
And that way, like green beans and pickles and pickled corn, things like that. Like we had shelves in our basement that was just stocked full of stuff that you could eat, for
Wow.
years. Like jams and jellies. My mom was real big on that, and like now even I'll do that every now and then. Just go, like especially growing up when I was there, just go pick wild berries and make jam or jelly with it. It was awesome.
yeah, no, I can imagine. Like I feel like because you would consider West Virginia the South, would you kind of
Technically, yeah,
technically,
they do, yeah.
It's like all the southern states. I think that's a big thing. Like,
Yeah.
Jams and jellies and preserves. And
Oh, yeah.
I was driving through South Carolina and I was sitting at a cabin and there were just a bunch of wild berries. And I was like, I could see how if you have these
Yeah.
things at your fingertips, why not go ahead and make
yeah.
it?
That was the best. That was some of the best parts of like when we would go camping at some of our favorite campsites were like near areas where we could go and just pick berries. Like that would be half of our camping trip was just when berries were ripe, going and picking those for hours, and then just like eating those by the fire at night. Is awesome.
So would you say that kind of like, how would you describe your relationship with food and like understanding like protein and like fruits, carbs? Did you say you had a pretty good understanding of it as a kid, or?
Yeah, I mean, like growing up, I didn't give a crap. Like my mom is a like award-winning cook. Like she bakes and stuff like that's like her like side thing she does
Wow.
these days still, and she's almost 60. But we got into a car wreck. A coal truck hit me and my mom whenever I was 17, and it like broke her neck and her back and like messed her up pretty bad. So even like she's got a giant rod in there, and like it broke ribs, it ruptured her spleen, like it was all kinds of stuff. So
I'm sorry.
yeah, it messed her up pretty bad. So she was only able to work like a couple more years after that happened. So she retired, and now she'll like bake and things like that on the side. But she used to win awards all the time for those things. So growing up with that, I just got fat. Like she's bringing home extra food. She's cooking. People are making orders like giant cinnamon rolls. Like everything's bread.
It's great
it's
though.
all it's awesome. She's making banana bread and
Oh.
these cinnamon rolls, pepperoni rolls, and just like dinner rolls. Like that's like some of her main stuff. So I'm always eating that like every time she's making it. Even now, like there'll be times that if she's making a big order, like I'll send her money and get her to overnight me like some pepperoni rolls or
Oh, that's
something.
what's up.
Yeah, and it's bad because she always sends me way too much, and I'm like, fuck, I'm eating like 3 pepperoni rolls a day.
You gotta share with the lot.
Yeah, I do. I'm like, hey, please take these.
Take some of these.
So yeah, like I grew up, and then I just got like really fat my like junior year of high school. I remember I started like talking to a girl, and I was like, I need to get in better shape. So I started boxing, and that was how I boxed and did like just home workouts for 6 or 7 months. I lost like 80 pounds, and then I was just like I felt like I looked weird. I was like, I'm too skinny now because I've always been like wide and tall. So I started working out, got pretty serious about it, and on and off for years. And then when COVID hit, I just got like pure fat again because like our only actual gym there in town was closed, and it was closed for like almost 2 years. It seemed like.
Wow.
So like we had like a little bit of stuff at home, but like I just couldn't find the motivation. Like everything was like crappy during them, and I just got big, and then after I moved down to Texas, I started like getting a little more consistent with it, and then the last like year and a half, especially after like just feeling run down for the last few years, like tired all the time. Jason Poston was the one who we first talked to about it. He's like, dude, let's get you figured out here. Like, we'll go get your blood work and all that stuff done. Finally did that. Test was super low. Like, and that's just, it's crazy how common that is. Like for dudes in like their 20s.
Yes.
Like I've like now when I talk about these things more, there's guys that come into my chat that I'm talking to like on live stream or like just in my videos in general. They're like, dude, I went and got mine checked. I'm 22. Mine was like 300.
Wow.
And I'm just like, that's literally a dying old man. That's like an old man who, a 90, 100-year-old dude.
Decrepit.
Yeah, literally, like your body is just barely functioning, like testosterone. And it's sad because even a lot of doctors and stuff like that, like they're like, yep, 400, that's fine. You're enough to function. So that's good test. And so it's so sad that it's like that because I think they say like in the 80s and 90s, the dudes in their 30s, their test then was always like 800, 900 to 1,000. Now it's 300 and 400.
And I feel like that's a lot to do. Things have changed,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
feel like the roles that we play in life have changed,
Yep.
and that probably has a lot to do with that.
And just everything we eat, like everything we consume, and you can go down a rabbit hole with that.
Yes, you can.
The friggin' microplastics in like everything that we eat, and like how bad that is for like, especially your testosterone. So, yeah, you could go on forever about that, like what it is that's causing the test to be so low.
It's like an accumulation of it all because you look back in the 80s and 90s, and granted, they may not have been eating as well as maybe people eat today,
Sure.
but the food was better
It was,
quality.
yeah, it was more real.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Not
it
as
was
antibiotics and steroids and all these
everything
things.
to pump it up and make it as quick as possible. Like we got to pump out as much beef and chicken as possible, so we got to inject everything into it, and then everything's got plastic and all these like chemicals, preservatives. Like you could go forever to like it's all just a combination of it all.
And it's like
So
when you go to doctors, it kind of just reinforces this cycle if
yes,
you're not going to doctors like perhaps here or
yeah,
functional medicine where they really take the work because they're
yeah,
like, you're in normal ranges, but
yeah.
it's not optimal.
You can go do a job.
Right.
Yeah, like you are gonna feel like crap and have no drive or motivation to do anything else.
Right.
But you can be alive. Like that's most of the doctors' like way of thinking these days, and that comes down to like, well, as long as I can get you prescribed on something low, you're going to keep coming back, and it's going to keep making me money.
People don't realize, when I honestly kind of attribute it to the lack of education growing up in school, they
Sure.
didn't really teach us about testosterone, estrogen.
Not deeply, no, yeah,
and
yeah,
what it does for
yeah,
you. It's
yeah,
your drive hormone.
yeah.
So it's like people just attribute, oh, maybe I just didn't get enough sleep, or I'm not doing this and I'm not doing
yeah.
that. But no, your testosterone
I
is
should
low.
eat healthier. Like, cool, yeah,
Right.
you should, but like, there's
all
probably
Band-Aids.
a million other factors here. Yeah.
And I love that you were just speaking on how outside of just like your physicality, your testosterone helped your mentality, your emotions, just your drive, your motivation.
Dude, it was crazy. Like I was hung up on this girl that like she basically didn't want shit to do with me, but I was like dragging after her, and then I like just wasn't focused on my career, and like I was like just like I look back and I'm like, man, I'm like I was such a bitch for like years. I was being a bitch, and once I got my testosterone figured out, dude, and I was just like, oh, this is it. Like I feel like I should, and I'm like doing all these different jobs now. Like I was working for a handful of companies. I'm like making content. Like things are going, things are growing, but like since I got all that figured out, it has been just friggin' turned up to as much as it could. So I'm like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like constantly like trying to come up with something new. I'm taking on all these new jobs. I'm not like nearly as tired. If I'm tired, it's because I've actually like worked all day and I've worked out hard and like we're doing so much crap. But now it's just like improved everything.
Love that.
Like just the test alone.
Yeah.
So it's such a necessity, like to get that figured out.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And you were talking about how you stream,
Yeah.
and you were talking with your
Dude,
buddies on streaming
that's
about
all it's
it.
become. Yeah, like that's when I've been like I stream games and things like that, and that's a lot of fun. And but sometimes like a lot of the more faster paced games, like you can't really connect with the people watching and chatting as much because you're so in the game.
Yeah.
But when I play like a scary game, I can talk more. But I've been doing a thing where I just get on and I just chat with the people watching for like an hour or so. And especially lately, like, because, I'll like work out and then, whatever. Like, I've gotten like my shoulders have definitely like changed over the last like year.
Okay.
And like I've got like bigger trap stuff. So now, like, and 90% of the time when I film shit, it's mostly just like here up. Like, people don't like know what I look like in the majority. So people come to the stream, they're like, dude, what the hell? Like, I had no clue you were like, look like a strong, like beefy dude. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, and they're like, what do you do? What's going on? I'm like, well,
Let me
I'm
tell
like,
you.
let me tell you. I'm like, obviously I work out and like I'm lifting pretty heavy and shit like that. But like these peptides have been like what has really made such a big difference, especially the testosterone for me. And then all the other things that have helped heal me and get everything back in order and working the way that it should. Like, so it's been just like peptide power hour. Like every time I get on and talk, there'll be new people coming in and asking about it.
That's what's up. And I know you were mentioning you had some issues with your
Yeah,
hands.
I've got bad carpal tunnel. I'll eventually have to have surgery on them. I've just been putting it off as much as I can because I just don't want to be down for 5 or 6 weeks. And I'm just traveling so much these days, so I'm trying to wait until like maybe like January, like after SHOT Show and things like kind of during the winter, things are a little more chill.
Yeah.
I can like take a little bit off. But yeah, I've had bad carpal tunnel for years, but it got really bad the last couple years. Like so, like it where my hands were just like numb 24/7, like they're on fire. And I having trouble tying my shoes and like doing like especially in the mornings like simple stuff like putting a belt on. Like I can't like it just feels like there's nothing in my hands. Like they're just on fire like all the time.
Yeah, like
So-
hearing you talk about it just from your journey with starting and
Yeah.
to now, it's like you
It's-
seem so much more vibrant.
Oh yeah, even
upbeat,
just
like,
the last year, like it's like because I started the test first, and that was great. But then like everything else, like, and I like really do notice it as soon as I wake up. Like, I get better sleep, and I used to like God when I would go to get out of bed, I'd be like so stiff feeling. I'm like rolling out of bed. I'm like just like oh God. But now I'm just like wee, like out of the bed when
Up
I
and
wake
at
up. I'm
'em.
like all right, let's go. Like
That's what's
it's
up.
yeah, it's such a good feeling to not just feel like crap
Mm.
like the first few hours of the day, like trying to like come back to life or
Yeah.
something. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I could just go on and on about everything that it's like changed.
100%.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited to keep doing it and
Staying with it.
trying the new stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, and we've got a new regiment coming up for me to try and really prep for. Like I'll go to the Olympias here in October, and I want to try and like get real extra serious about it. We're gonna go crazy on the diet and a new regiment with all the different peptides and just see what kind of progress I can really make. I've got about 2 months.
That's what's up.
So we're going to try and do a nice little 8-week
Okay.
transformation there and see how it looks.
I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We appreciate you for going through the process and
course, yeah.
explaining, being honest about it. And
Yeah.
it's just great to see how it's just improved your overall quality. So,
Yeah, and I greatly appreciate the whole company for, allowing me to be a part of it.
We
Of course.
appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.